Hello, citizens of Gotham. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching The Political Vigilante. The People's Channel. The People's Channel. So a lot of people have been speaking up against Israel's 45 plus days of bombing Gaza nonstop. As of today's date, we have, I think, over 12,000 Palestinians that have been killed. Just under 6,000 of them have been children. They don't deserve this at all. This is awful. And people are calling for just a ceasefire. We've had 2 senators call for a ceasefire. We've had the UN, Oxfam, Human Rights Watch are calling for this. Human rights organizations are calling for this. We have organizations like Jewish Voices for Peace and Bet Salem, which is a Israeli organization of Israelis who are critical of Israel's treatment of Palestinians. We have Breaking the Silence, which is ex-Israeli soldiers who have come forward to say, and they've been speaking up for years about how awful their treatment of Palestinians has been. We have Orthodox Jews Against Zionism. And the list goes on and on. The majority of these pro-Palestine protests are organized by Jewish people. And people are just not, they're speaking out and they don't like this. So, but, still speaking up can hurt you. This just came out. Susan Sarandon, A-list Hollywood celebrity, was released by her agency, UTA. UTA is one of the bigger agencies in Hollywood after being vocal about the ongoing genocide happening in Palestine at a pro-Palestine rally. This is insane to me. That being against genocide is costing you your job or work in this case, not in a specific job, but she lost her agent and that's how she gets her work primarily. That's how show business works. And, Susan Sarandon has a very impressive resume as an actress in Hollywood. She is a very gifted, skilled actor and has worked with all kinds of directors and actors. And she just doesn't want hospitals to get bombed, and that means she needs to lose her agent. This is so unbelievable. And we've interviewed Katie Halper on the show, who is Jewish and has family in Israel. We've interviewed Richard Medhurst. We've spoken, Lee Camp and I do a podcast together every week, Government Secrets. Lee's Jewish, his wife is Jewish, and he's speaking out against what is happening. And it's this simple. If you're supporting Israel right now, after all that they're doing, you're on the wrong side of history. You're on the wrong side of history. I mean, people like Noam Chomsky are like calling out Israel. Israel, and the reality, what we're seeing now, now that the filter of Western media, we're just told in America, any criticism of Israel means you're an anti-Semite, which is preposterous. It's like saying I've been critical of, or anyone that's critical of Saudi Arabia's human rights violations. Does that mean you're an Islamophobe? You just hate, you think, no, you can be critical of a government. And the reality is Israel is now coming across like the rich white European colonizers. And so we don't really have freedom of speech in this country anymore. And I don't want to see children get bombed. Does that mean I lose my job? Does that mean it's insane? So if you're at UTA, you're basically saying you're pro-genocide? Netanyahu is a right-wing, especially when you see the videos from this organization I follow that is, it's called Torah Judaism. Judaism, Torah Judaism. And it's basically, they're Orthodox Jews that are against Zionism. And they're like, and there's video of them getting beaten up by Israeli cops. These guys with the hats and the locks or whatever they're called, like Orthodox Jews getting the crap beaten out of them by Israeli police because they don't support Zionism. It's crazy. And people say, well, yeah, but anti-Semitism is on the rise. Yeah, that's awful. But who's creating that? I think Netanyahu is the one to blame for that. So being critical of the Israeli government is not anti-Semitic. I'm against war. And this is like the survivors of a Holocaust. There are so many Holocaust survivors or people who had family that were Holocaust survivors that are like, this is so wrong what Israel is doing. So don't listen to me. Listen to ex-Israeli soldiers at Breaking the Silence. Listen to thousands and hundreds of thousands of people in this country and millions around the world who are like, no, listen to all these Jewish voices for peace. This isn't right. I mean, Susan Sarandon she was blamed for Trump because she didn't want to vote for Hillary. I mean, she just had to take so much crap for so much nonsense that she's just a good person standing up for the right thing. And this country is so insane and has a bunch of warmongering psychos. And we're sending, we have people living in tents. Inflation is through the roof. We just broke a record, I believe, for car loan defaults. Consumer debt is at an all-time high because people can't afford to pay their bills. Rents are at an all-time high nationwide. The average cost of a home in America is $400,000. In California, it's $800,000. No one can afford to buy a home. Bankruptcy is the number one. Healthcare, medical bills are the number one cause of bankruptcy in this country. But yet we're sending billions of dollars to Israel and the Ukraine for all these ridiculous wars. We already have a military budget that's $858 billion a year, 880, I don't know, it's going to go up to 880 something for next year. And the Republicans and Democrats will vote. That always gets bipartisan support. Every year since 2001, we're coming on 22 years now of bipartisan support for military budget increase. We're sick of it. I don't want my tax dollars used to bomb a hospital. I don't want my tax dollars used to kill children. I don't want my tax dollars used to support neo-Nazi organizations in the Ukraine. I don't want my money to go for bombing and war. America could be this shining house on a hill. It could be leading the country through all of this, but instead we support war. And so then we got this crazy nonsense where an actress gets let go from her agency because she's against a genocide. UTA, what are you doing? What is your problem? I hope some big name people at UTA walk as a result of this. I wish I was a huge celebrity, so I was at UTA right now and I had some 3-picture deal and I go, bye, we're done. I'm going to an agency that doesn't support genocide. So it's insane. You watch these videos of these kids that have been killed or lost their parents and families crying in Gaza. It's unthinkable to keep wanting to support that. People chanting no ceasefire at the pro-Israel rally, the one in Washington, D.C., where people were paid $250 to go. Those rallies that are like almost all white people, and the pro-Palestine rallies are all diverse and all people of all different walks of life and ethnicities and everything. You're on the wrong side of history. You're on the wrong side of history. Susan Sarandon is not. It's all about money, guys. It's not about religion at all. This isn't about religion. This is about money. This is about money and power and wealth and the military-industrial complex making money. And All of the warmongers like Hillary Clinton that are like, a ceasefire only helps Hamas. She's a psycho. Now, we showed you the other day, if you go to opensecrets.org, Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, they've all gotten all this money. Lindsey Graham, they've gotten Donald Trump. They've gotten all this money from pro-Israel lobby groups. It's about money. It's about oil. The Israeli government won't even acknowledge the Armenian genocide because Israel gets oil from Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan is at odds with Armenia. So they can't say Turkey committed a genocide. Israel won't acknowledge another country's genocide. So I mean, does Israel only want the Jews are the only genocide that's ever happened? Wow. What about Rwanda? What about Darfur? What about Pol Pot? What about the genocide you're committing right now against Palestinians? I'm sorry. History books are the history of the history. It's there. It's in black and white. You can't refute this. You can't say no. And the world's had enough. And big props to Gen Z, who's really leading the way here generationally, going, nope. I'm glad. And all these Gen Z, lefties who are like mad at Joe Biden. Now you see why us progressive lefties weren't dancing in the streets in 2020 when he won. I didn't vote for Biden and I didn't vote for Trump. This is the Democratic Party that you think is so much better than the Republicans. This is what happens when you vote for the lesser of two evils. Before the 1948 Nakba, in Palestine, there were Jews, Arabs, Christians, Muslims, all living together in harmony. Everybody was getting along. Everyone was getting along. And then the white European colonizers came in and stole and kicked 750,000 people out of there and committed atrocities. And they want to seal off Jerusalem for the second coming of Jesus. I'm not making that up. And right-wing evangelical Christians are in support of this. It's insane. It's crazy. Follow the money, connect the dots, get the truth. That's how we make Gotham great again and shave your knuckles for justice. Boom.